Chicago Cubs baseball is on the air from beautiful and historic Wrigley Field in Chicago, Illinois. Greetings and welcome to the Sports Card Ripping Teacher. That's what Pat Hughes says before every Chicago Cubs game on the airwaves. Oh, I already miss baseball. I miss listening to baseball on the radio especially, but today I am here because the Commenting Collector has reached a subscriber milestone, and he has a VR that sounded a lot of fun for me from the very get-go. And when it was first announced, the Cubs were still in the playoffs, and all I could think about was that day's lineup. I couldn't think about my all-time favorite players, and I still had a hard time doing that. And then I started thinking about, Robert, he had a really great episode about Kerry Wood, his 20 strikeouts, how he was at those games. I started reminiscing about my time at Wrigley Field, going all the way back to my first game that my parents took me. But then I started thinking about my vending career, and I went through, found my name tag from my very first year. Look how young I look there. I still look pretty young and all, handsome devil right there. But 2003 was my first year in the big leagues, and I love Rickey Henderson stuff. And Ricky always would laugh when he heard players talking about they had like tenure for enough years of service. And Ricky would be like, I don't know why people are talking about tenure. Ricky got 15 years. Well, guess what, Ricky? Vince has 23 years in the big leagues. So I think it was Grizzo, was that the mechanic on MASH? Colonel Potter, he failed his driving test. And Grizzo was, supposed to teach him to drive. And Colonel Potter said, well, can I have a makeup test? And Grizzo said, wonderful idea, sir. Make up your own test. You're surely going to pass. So I made a little change. I am going to do my favorite Cubs at each position and the lineup since I've been working at Wrigley Field. Now, there are some bad teams in there. There are some bad teams there. If I had a Jeremy Burnitz card, I would probably add that to my list, but unfortunately, I don't. So here's what I have going on. If you have not checked out the Commenting Collector yet, definitely go and do so. He should be having a Halloween special coming up. He took a poll. Hopefully everyone voted. They voted yes. He does his collector chats, just different collections that he is into, so you won't be disappointed. And the thing I like is it's something different all the time. Either he's talking to different people, different collections. So here is my Chicago Cub lineup. Batting leadoff in center field, Pete Crow Armstrong. I think this young man's going to get better and better. And the thing I love is speed. That's one of those things you really can't teach speed. He is fast. He was hitting the ball better this year, kind of slumping towards the end a little bit, but the future is bright for him. Now, in the 2-hole is my favorite current Chicago Cub, Nico Hoerner. Had a great year this year. Got a little Nico graded autograph right there. Pretty sweet looking card. And in the 3-hole, I went with, I think about him and kind of get a little bit teary. He kind of turned the Cubs around. They were bad. I think it was 2012, 3, whatever. They were bad. And there was a game against the Reds. And something happened with Aroldis Chapman. And Anthony Rizzo went over to that dugout and wanted to take on the entire team. And that's why I feel like I kind of get goosebumps here. The hairs in the back of my head are standing up. When Anthony Rizzo went over there, things started to change. They weren't the nice Cubs anymore. But there we go. Anthony Rizzo, our captain, led us to our World Series championship. Man, these are great relics back then. I missed the Cubs one. I don't want a Dodgers one or a Toronto one. The game's about to start pretty soon. If it hasn't started already, pretty soon. I want Toronto to win. I do want Toronto to win. So Rizzo in the 3-hole, batting cleanup. And I just realized I need an autograph of this player. The big man, Bam Bam Schwarber, Kyle Schwarber. I would love to see Kyle Schwarber back. I've worked up a few scenarios in my head where he actually comes back to the Cubs. But so Rizzo is at first, obviously. We're going to put Schwarber in left. Schwarber's going on left because the guy that's going to be after him is going to be the designated hitter. And I just watched a video the other day of how Schwarber worked. Here you go. Come on, Reagan's a good boy. how Riggins, or not Riggins, but Schwarber worked himself back into shape to get ready for that World Series. I'm the only one home. Shelly is in Milwaukee. Graham's at his friend's house. Jackson's at someone else with a haunted house or something like that. And just Riggins and I. So Schwarber batting cleanup. And in the 5-hole is going to be the Fonz. That's right, Alfonso Soriano. I feel like when the Cubs got him, he was not the best fielder in the world. I know. Yeah, I know. You want someone else to be DH, don't you? But I did like the Fonz. I feel like he had a couple of good years with the Cubs, some good stretches. He really carried that team. But it was that hopping in the outfield thing that kind of drove me crazy. And he had this is a second-year card of his, but his first year, 07, played 135 games. What do you have? 42 doubles, 5 triples, 33 home runs, 70 RBIs, batting leadoff. Only the 19 stolen bases. Before that, he was doing 35 to 40 each one of those years. But the Fonz was a good player, batted .299 as well. So the Fonz is our DH, batting 5th. And number 6 at the hot corner, Ron Santo. That's right, Ron Santo. People are like, what in the world's going on? Well, Ron was one of the radio announcers when I first started working with the Cubs. And I would see him quite a few times early before games, him going up to the press box. By that time, he had 2 prosthetic legs. And I just always enjoyed hearing stories about him, his fight with juvenile diabetes. You need style. That's right, I'm taking you back to my very first year in the big leagues, 2002, Wrigley Field. I remember my first day like it was yesterday. I actually did not sell beer at all that day. It took a few days to kind of work through the seniority line just a little bit. And when I did, it was glorious. And I remember when I was doing it, it was always the race to 10 cases. Once you sold 10 cases, you knew you were having a good day, then why not push forward and get a couple more? Now, today, if you sell 5 or 6, that's still a good day because of the cost. So back when I first started, one of these cans right here sold G. Heidemann Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Old Style Light, and Special Export. They were $4.25 each. Crazy what things cost today. And for the most part, you're getting $1 a beer per tip. That's where the money was, the cash going right in your pocket as soon as you were done. But one thing that kind of separated the beer vendors amongst other ones was your pour. Now, right now, you're just cracking cans open, you're passing it down the line. There's no art of the pour. And one of the hardest things to master was the double pour. And for a couple of reasons, some people would do what's called the shotgun pour, where they stick it all the way in there and they kind of vacuum it out. Problem. The beer is touching the outside of the can. You're probably sweating on there, your fingers are on there. That's not the best. But probably the worst is not all the beer comes out right away. So that was not the way to do it. I saw a lot of younger kids doing that. None of the veterans did it, so I would watch them and try to perfect it on my own. So I have not done a double pour since we stopped using cups. So I'm gonna see if I can do it. You always grab your 2 and kind of have your things align your case right there. Got my trusty, it's been with me every single day. I've never forgotten this can opener. It's been the World Series, everything. So you kind of open there. Here's what rookies don't know. You gotta pop that little extra hole in there. That's what's gonna do it. All right, go in your tub. You get your cans or your cups right here. Sorry, you guys can see that there. But it's all about the angle. Look at that right there. Look at that. That is perfect. The good kids still got it. Everything's out of those cans. Perfect pours. It's the art of the pour, folks. That's exactly where it's at. Now, let's get back to this Cubs lineup. All right, so hopefully everyone's ready to go now. Ron Santo, I never had the heart to ask him for his autograph, knowing just, how much effort it took him to do what he did each day and the joy he brought to Cubs fans on the radio. So Ron Santo at the hot corner, batting 7th, our catcher, Willson Contreras. Say what you will, when Wilson's on your team, you love him. Like, when he's on the Cardinals, I'm like, man, this guy and his act or whatever, but he loves his teammates. He loves the game, and he was a very productive catcher for the Chicago Cubs. One of the three-headed monsters in the World Series year. And once, the core left, Rizzo was gone, Bryant, Schwarber. He was definitely the leader of that team, him and Ian Happ. So we got Willson Contreras, and batting 8th, the magician, Javier Baez. Javi was always fun to watch. And that's where one of Madden's slogans came from, try not to suck. And he had saw Javi during winter ball. He was kind of struggling, really pressing. And that's all Madden said to him. And he kind of got a chuckle out of it, and just kind of loosened him up a little bit. And he had, 2017, I think? He had his MVP or 2016 MVP candidate year where he cut down on those strikeouts. I think if he could have kind of continued to do that, he would have been a very productive player. Maybe one of the ones the Cubs would have kept. But he had a good year for the Tigers this year, so shout out to all the Tigers fans, especially budget rips out there. I guess it's time for the stretch.
Our hero, Anthony Rizzo. Here we go. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I ever get back going through. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, we're out at the old ball.
All right, we're back, and all the stars are coming out for the commenting collector. Eddie Vedder, Cindy Crawford, and Anthony Rizzo. So every great team needs a great pitching staff, and we have one here for sure. And leading things off is another key acquisition for the 2016 World Series team, Johnny Lester. That's right, John Lester is going to lead things off. He is going to be our ace. He learned how to throw back to first base for pickoffs while he was a Cub. Also learned to hit a little bit. So he's going to go out first. Second's the tough Texan. That's right, Kid K. Kerry Wood. Oh, man. He sure could pitch. So sad that he got injured. Came back a second time, even a third time. He had a couple of injuries, a Tommy John surgery, but he came back as a reliever as well. So Kerry Wood is going to be our number 2 starter. And the third man came back to finish his career with the Chicago Cubs again was Greg Maddux. One of my favorite photos of all time, him sliding on the tarp. That was supposed to be the first night game. The good Lord said, no, you're not going to play tonight. Cubs baseball is meant to be played during the day. Our number 4 starter was injured this year. Things definitely would have been different if he stayed healthy. Justin Steele, the man of steel, the fire-throwing left-hander. And one of my favorite things about him is actually he plays the Johnny Cash songs before his first inning of pitching when the Cubs are at home. And we have a rookie on the team, folks. Cade Horton came on after a month or so of this season, pitched phenomenally, NL Rookie of the Year. Unfortunately, he had an injury, his side, oblique, rib, something like that, where he could not pitch in the playoffs, but the future is bright for this young man right here. And every team needs a manager. Now, Mike Quade, he was a good guy. Mike Quade would be on third base coach when he was the third base coach, and he'd look over at you and he'd say, give me 4, give me 4. And just a good guy, fun guy. Not a good manager, but a fun guy. I want Mike Quade to be a bench coach. Another bench coach is Lou Piniella. I love Lou Piniella's post-game press conferences after the games, but the manager is definitely going to be Joe Maddon. Some people didn't like his act. I don't think it was an act at all. It was who he was, trying to motivate the players, get the best out of them, and I think he truly did do that. I enjoy and appreciate Joe Maddon. He is our manager. And Jax said every team needs a mascot. So we have one with no pants. Clark, he's always in the way, but Clark is our mascot, waving that W flag at the end of the game, which you're going to see here pretty soon. Now, you have, I think, until October 31st to get your VR in. Robert, congratulations on all of the success, and can't wait for your next VR. Class is dismissed.